and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. The way you step to me is like hell in a cell.
Alright guys, Delzinski here, and I am joined by the one and only Weeds.
How's it going, mate? You well?
Yes, I am good, thank you very much, and I guess we've got to say welcome everybody to another edition of We Talk with a very, very interesting topic today. It's been pretty much coming out hot off the press from the internet, so take it as you will, but apparently CM Punk is going to be at tomorrow's Monday Night Raw live from Chicago.
Now, is he saving the WWE or are they saving him? Because, I mean, if they turned up there tomorrow night without him, would it have been pandemonium?
Most definitely, yes. I know they did wheel in the big guns, the big names. I think we had Taker lined up, Hogan still, Lesnar, but still that crowd would have been so hot, and the heat that would have been on the WWE without CM Punk would have been massive. So, I mean, the reports at the moment are, and it's come from a pretty reliable source. I mean, it was from Dave Meltzers Wrestling radio talk show, where he's been told that a big name within the WWE has almost confirmed, almost 100% confirmed, that CM Punk will return tomorrow night at Raw in Chicago.
Now, he doesn't say who, does he? But,
No.
I mean, when it comes to Dave Meltzer, he's very respected in the industry. He knows what he's talking about. He doesn't really get this stuff wrong, does he?
No, he doesn't. And, I mean, it's quite a big one to put out there if it's just gossip as well. Obviously, Punk's been talk of the town. We've talked about him numerous times on We Talk. So, you know, I literally do think, like you said, if he does come back, he's almost saved the WWE a night of embarrassment, because we've heard Punk chants constantly the last few weeks, particular with the segments with Orton and Batista. Now, as I said, I think they're trying to, pretty much the universe is trying to say they're bored of Batista and Orton, and they're just trying to embarrass the WWE at the moment with the mistakes with Bryan and obviously letting Punk walk away.
Yeah, I was going to say, like we've discussed on some of these past episodes as well, other than Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan's only, what would you say, since SummerSlam has majorly gone over. They were going out without their top babyface. Debatable whether or not he's better as a babyface, but that's a whole other issue. They were going to be without their top babyface, who's potentially been the best guy in the company since 2011. And we said before, the network couldn't really afford to go ahead without him being there. So I don't know. Is it a shoot that has turned into a work now, and we're ultimately getting Punk back? So, I mean, everyone wants Punk there anyway. But I mean, do you think he got paid?
I do, yeah. I think he got paid. I think he was told. He obviously, I feel, went to Vince and said he'd had enough, and he was literally taking his ball and going home. And I think that potentially at the beginning they left him as it was, and I think they maybe gave him a little bit of time to cool down. I believe there has been talks probably ongoing with Vince behind closed doors, and Vince probably just said to him, look, we'll give you a bit of time to sort of step away from things. He's not exactly going to recover from his injuries. He hasn't been away long enough, but him being away and then giving him the basically signs to come back, and maybe he's negotiated himself into a better situation come WrestleMania.
I was going to say, though, what do you think about him walking away? Because this, as it's been compared quite a lot to Austin taking his ball and going home. And as Austin has said himself on a number of occasions, he got that wrong. He didn't think it was best for business, what he did. And ultimately, it cost him money. He said more than anything. But, it cost him some of his legacy. Obviously, didn't tarnish him overly too much, but he is remembered for it. That's what I would say about Punk, though. This is the second time inside a year that he's had time off, isn't it? So, I mean, does he actually need that extended time off? I mean, are we going to be looking at him doing a similar kind of thing down the road at some point?
I think he does need some time off. I think we've looked at some of his recent matches, albeit that he's with some of the younger guys, so they are a bit of a step ahead. That's not questioning how good Punk is in the ring, but he has looked a little bit out of shape in recent times. He's not looked the best he's ever been. I think he did get himself in pretty decent shape for the match last year at WrestleMania with Taker, but then he spiraled off a bit, and he has picked up niggling injuries along the way. So yeah, he has got injuries. He needs to recover, and Rumble to WrestleMania is not exactly that time that you've had, which is sufficient to recover from those injuries.
No, I mean, what's he had? He's had a month off, and he had about a month, 5 or 6 weeks after Mania last year, didn't he? And I think he came back, and his first match was with Jericho. But yeah, I mean, the type of injuries they were talking about, because I think they said his knee was pretty smashed up by the end of Mania. You only had to look at some of the bumps he took during Mania to see that the man was in agony. So I think this is more. I think he's played his cards well, and I think we've said this before that was this a tactical move by Punk? Because ultimately, I don't think the WWE could do without him at the moment, going into your biggest launch of any kind of network coverage that they've ever tried to do, and they need him on that product at the moment. I suppose the next kind of question, I suppose, is his spot taken? In terms of what he's meant to be doing at WrestleMania, is that going to be what Daniel Bryan's doing? Are we going to see a shift in what's going to be happening again now?
Oh, I can't see them shifting again. I mean, it's been so sporadic anyway. The fact you've had 1 minute we were expecting possibly the Punk Triple H feud. Now it looks like it's Bryan Triple H going into WrestleMania. To rehash it again, I don't really think they should to fiddle with that element anymore. I think if he's going to slot himself back in, then hopefully he's negotiated himself into the world title picture, because we've got heel versus heel at the moment. And as you said, I mean, I'm not Punk's biggest fan when he comes to being a face, but they definitely need a babyface in that main event. And Punk fits that mould perfectly, considering he's being chanted just as much as Daniel Bryan is whenever Batista and Randy Orton are on the mic, basically.
No, I mean, I think you're right, and that's kind of what we've said before. And I think if Punk had stayed around, had that match with Triple H anyway, he would have been in the world title picture. I think it was more of an issue for him that he wasn't going to be in that picture come WrestleMania 30. So maybe he has negotiated his way into that. So are we going to get some kind of epic heels and babyface 4-way match now at WrestleMania? I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking, and maybe something I would like to see, with the kind of elimination style with Batista and Orton as your heels, and then Bryan after. Well, I don't know if he's going to have to go for Triple H if they went for an option like this, and Punk on the other side playing that kind of babyface role, bit like what they did at WrestleMania 16.
Yeah, I mean, we could see something like that. I don't know how Batista's going to feel with all of this, because it's almost taking the limelight straight off of him if we do throw another 2 people in the main event.
Batista no happy.
Yeah, I mean, hardly worth going and winning the Royal Rumble if you don't get the shot on your own. It's very interesting. I think tomorrow night, if he does come back in Chicago, obviously he's going to blow the roof in Chicago. It's just going to be absolutely mental. But to think about it as well, if he does interrupt Batista and Orton, that to me seems like the right scenario to pitch him in. And maybe he could also have a say with Triple H as well. But I think him being slotted into the main event fold works much better than trying to fix this cluster that they have built up, where they just got to give Triple H an opponent. God needs an opponent, and no one wants to face him.
Well, he likes Taker and Bork. I'm sure he could go and do something with them for half an hour. But no, I think if Punk
he could take the streak, couldn't he?
Because you get a belt for that, don't you?
I forgot. Yeah, he has to be a title associated.
It's got to be something golden he can wear around his waist. We jest.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, Punk. He's in those absolute peak years of his career. He needs to be in those title matches. So yeah, I'd like to see him doing something along those lines.
I think he will interrupt them. I think he will interrupt Bryan and Batista. Not Bryan and Batista. Orton and Batista.
That was it. That's what I was going to say. Is because I can see him doing something along those lines again, as we've said many a times, if he is back tomorrow. The other kind of way, I'd like to see him pipe bomb again, because he's obviously got a lot on his chest. And as I was saying to you the other day, mate, watching some of his promos, but just before he got into it with The Rock, when he was talking about the glass ceiling within the WWE and the former pipe bomb he did before. And I can even see, Triple H coming out and challenging him, because how dare you question my authority, and Punk being, cleverly talking his way into the main event match. But I suppose we shall see when all is revealed tomorrow night.
Aaron Paul has got his work seriously cut out for him controlling this Monday Night Raw, hasn't he? If he thought Breaking Bad was hard enough with Heisenberg, Chicago's going to give him a run for his money.
I was going to say the only way you're going to control that lot tomorrow is if you get Walter White down there in his van.
They'll be giving meth to the crowd. Oh, better not say that. Whoops.
Yeah, we'll go for the classic Coke line.
It is literally this last week was a big Raw with Brother coming back, but
this one feels like it's going to be bigger.
Absolutely. Guys, I think that pretty much wraps up We Talk for this week. We just wanted to cover this topic because we know that tomorrow night something massive could seriously happen. If it doesn't, then obviously massive disappointment, because if we don't get Punk back in time for WrestleMania, then this story just rumbles on. But yeah, let us know via the comments box below what you think. Do you think CM Punk is going to be at Monday Night Raw from his hometown of Chicago? And as well, do you think, how do you think he's going to slot into the main event or in any event of WrestleMania? So
he's opening with Kofi.
Oh my God, Triple H is really pulling out the burial cards.
Coffin match.
Yeah, nothing towards Kofi Kingston there, but yeah, guys, let us know what you think. Do you think Punk is going to get himself back into the WrestleMania frame, so to speak? Please let us know via the comments box below. And I think until next time, all that's left to be said is this is Delzinski and Weeds. Do you want to sign out, mate?
Yes, hopefully with the best in the world back by the time we do this again.
Fingers crossed. Yes, indeed. And all that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. And this is Delzinski and Weeds dropping that pipe bomb and signing out.